The human pilot. Liam slammed the emergency switch as the ship jolted again. Warning lights flashed red across the cracked dashboard. Smoke hissed from the engine core, filling the cabin. The atmosphere outside was unknown, but he had no choice. He pressed the landing override. The ship spun once, then dropped fast. Trees smashed against the wings. Metal screamed as it scraped the rocks. The crash was rough, but Liam survived. His hand shook as he unlocked the cockpit door and climbed out. Dust choked the air, and the sky above was a dark orange. He looked around. No signs of life. Just a broken landscape of junked ships and strange metallic wreckage. Then he heard a soft clink of metal. He turned fast. Weapon ready. Heart racing. A shadow moved near a stack of old engines. From behind a metal crate, someone stood. It was a tall figure in a tight gray jumpsuit, holding a glowing plasma torch. Her skin shimmered faint blue, and her long silver hair was tied behind her head. In a tight knot. She was an alien, and she looked annoyed. "You broke my sky," she said sharply, her eyes scanning the damaged ship. "I didn't exactly land on purpose," Liam said, lowering his gun. She stepped closer. Her boots crunched on broken glass. Her eyes were sharp, golden, and not friendly. "This is salvage zone. Your ship is junk now. I just need the engine fixed," Liam replied. She stared at him, then turned away without a word. She walked toward a half-opened metal shed. Liam followed. Inside was a small workshop full of wires, strange machines, and tools he didn't recognize. The air smelled like oil and burnt circuits. She moved with speed, grabbing tools, checking READOUTS. Liam tried to speak. "You live out here alone?" She didn't answer. He looked at her again. The jumpsuit was dirty, zipped up to her neck, and covered in grease stains. Her hands moved fast and steady, like a trained expert, but her face looked tired, worn, like she hadn't rested in days. "I'm Liam." He tried again, still silenced. She finally said, "Call me Vetra. Don't touch anything." Then she pushed a crate aside and stepped into the engine area. Liam saw her kneel, sliding under the damaged part of the ship with her tools. For the next hour, he just watched. Her hands glowed as she used alien tools. Sparks flew. The smell of hot metal filled the air. She finally rolled out and looked at him. "Engine core is cracked. You won't fly again today." "How long?" 2 days, if I worked fast. 3 if you talk too much." Liam nodded, then stepped outside to catch his breath. This planet wasn't on any map. No signals, no help. Just him and this strange mechanic. He couldn't tell if she hated him or just didn't care. That night, he sat near a small fire outside. The shed. Vetra worked late, sparks flashing behind her. Liam offered food from his survival pack. She took it without thanks. Finally, he asked, "Why help me?" She paused, chewing slowly. "Because broken things deserve a second chance." He was quiet for a moment. "Are you talking about the ship?" She looked at him. "Maybe." The fire crackled between them. Then she stood and walked back to the shed just before she went in. She said one thing that made his skin crawl. "You shouldn't have come here alone." The metal door slammed shut behind Liam with a loud thud. He had followed Vetra into the workshop again, hoping to talk, maybe understand her more. But this time she turned around and locked the door from the inside. No light came from the tiny windows. Only the soft blue glow from her tools lit the room. Liam suddenly felt trapped. "You lock the door often?" he asked. Vetra didn't smile. She picked up a heavy wrench and pointed toward a small power box. "Hold that open," she ordered. Obeyed, kneeling beside the panel. The inside was full of alien wires, glowing tubes, and pulsing lights he couldn't recognize. She knelt beside him and slid her arm deep into the machine. Her sleeves rolled up, revealing strange markings burned into her skin. They looked like symbols, but they shifted under the light like they were alive. Liam stared at her arm. "Are those tattoos?" "No," she said without looking. "They're warnings." "For who?" "For me." Liam swallowed hard. He didn't know what that meant, and something told him not to ask again. While she worked, he noticed something under the top in the corner. It was a long shape taller than a person, covered in thick cloth and sealed with chains. "What's that?" he asked. Vetra stopped moving for a second. Her hand froze on the wires. Then she pulled it out slowly and stood. "None of your business," she said, voice flat. "But I saw it moving." Vetra's eyes narrowed. She walked over and stood between Liam and the covered object. "You saw nothing," she said coldly. "Do not go near it." Liam felt the room grow colder. She picked up her wrench again and went back to the ship's core. Liam stayed quiet now, hands still, eyes watching her carefully. Her movements became sharper, faster, like she was trying to forget something. The silence was heavy. Then suddenly the power box sparked and let out a sharp whine. A red light began blinking rapidly. Vetra stood up fast and stared at it. "That's not possible," she whispered. "What is it?" Liam asked. She grabbed a metal rod and smashed the red light until it stopped blinking. "Nothing," she said. "Just a broken signal." Liam didn't believe her. "Look, if there's something dangerous," I said. "It's nothing." She snapped. Liam raised his hands in surrender. "I didn't crash here on purpose. You know, I was shot down." he said. I'm not your enemy. She paused, then said, you might be, you just don't know it yet. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. He stayed outside near the fire, but every sound made him turn. Somewhere in the dark, metal creaked and hissed. Something was out there, or maybe it was under the top. The next morning, Vetra handed him a strange silver device. What's this? He asked. A translator. You humans are slow at learning, Liam smirked. Thanks for the insult. It's not an insult, she said, strapping on her tool belt. It's data. They worked together that day. Liam passed tools while Vetra crawled deep inside the engine core. The two of them talked more, and she finally shared something. I used to fix warships, she said, before I ran. He watched her closely. She stood, stretched her back, and whispered, they made me build machines to kill. I changed, one of them gave it a soul. My punishment was exile. Liam blinked. He gave it a soul. She turned to him slowly. That thing in the corner, he started. Don't finish that sentence, she warned. You don't want to know. Then she placed her hand on the ship's outer wall. Her voice softened. This ship still has some life in it. Like you. Liam was confused. You think I'm broken too? She looked him straight in the eyes. I think we all are. Just before the sun set, Vetra reached into her jumpsuit pocket and handed Liam a data chip. What's this for? He asked. If I don't survive the next few days, plug it into your ship and leave. What do you mean don't survive? What's coming? She looked toward the top in the corner. I built something I wasn't supposed to, she said. Now they've found me. The sound came at midnight. It was soft, like a whisper of metal sliding across stone. Liam opened his eyes and sat up from the floor. The fire outside had gone out. The workshop lights were off, but something had moved. He reached for his blaster. Inside the workshop, shadows danced from a single blue light. Vetra wasn't there, but the top in the corner, the one she warned him never to touch, was gone. Liam stepped inside slowly. Every tool and crate seemed untouched, except one thing. The metal floor tile near the corner was loose. He crouched down and pulled it open. Beneath it was a panel full of blinking lights, buttons, and cables. A low hum vibrated through the air. This wasn't part of his ship, and it wasn't part of hers either. This was alien tech, and it was hidden on purpose. He reached in and touched the edge. A screen flickered on and displayed a symbol, a red mark shaped like a blade with wings. Then it showed a map of Earth. Before he could react, a cold voice echoed behind him. You open the panel. Liam turned fast. Vetra stood in the doorway, face unreadable, arms crossed, her jumpsuit unzipped halfway, exposing a glowing plate on her chest. Not skin, metal. Her eyes glowed faint yellow in the dark. I didn't mean to, Liam said quickly. I heard a noise. The top was gone. I moved it, she said. But you opened something you shouldn't have. Liam backed away from the panel. What is that? He asked. It's a weapon map, she said. A tool I was forced to build. It tracks energy cores on different planets. Earth is one of them. Why? Because your planet has something they want. Liam stared at the map again. You were going to use it? No, she said sharply. I was going to destroy it, but I needed help. Why didn't you ask me? She looked down. Because humans run away when they find out what I am. Liam stepped closer. Try me. She walked to the panel and shut it down with a single press. I was built in a lab, she said quietly. Half machine, half alien. My creators used me to make weapons that could think, adapt, feel. But one day I made something too powerful. I gave it freedom. They called it a mistake. I called it life, the thing you created. Is it still alive? Yes, she whispered, and it's waking up. She walked to the wall and pulled open a locked drawer. Inside was a long glass vial glowing blue. She handed it to Liam. This is its core, she said. It's incomplete. That's why it sleeps. And if it wakes up, then I won't be the one in control anymore. Liam held the vial. The glow inside seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. You kept all this hidden under my ship, she nodded. I had no time. I was being hunted. Suddenly an alarm went off. A loud, sharp tone rang across the walls. Vetra turned to a small monitor. Her hands moved fast across the buttons. They found us, she said. One ship scanning for heat signatures. Liam grabbed his bag. What do we do? She looked at him seriously. If they see the core, they'll take it. Then they'll take you. They don't leave witnesses. He held up the vial. Hide it. I'll distract them. No, she said. They'll read your mind. Even a thought of where it's hidden could kill us both. She walked to the back wall and opened another hidden hatch. Behind it was a deep chamber of cables, wires, and lights. Put it in here, she said. The chamber blocks signals. Liam placed the vial inside. The hatch hissed shut and locked. Outside, a shadow passed over the building. Engines roared. Lights flashed through the cracks in the ceiling. They're landing, she said. Get ready. Liam looked at her again. Her face was calm, but her body buzzed with hidden energy. The jumpsuit around her arms was pulled tight, showing plates of armor beneath soft alien skin. She wasn't just a mechanic, she was a weapon. And now, the enemy was at the door. The ceiling cracked open with a thunderous boom. A beam of light burst through the hole, and a black ship hovered above the workshop. Its hull was shaped like a claw, sharp and cold. Red lights scanned the ground like hungry eyes. Liam covered his face from the heat, and Vetra didn't move. She stood still, arms down, eyes locked on the ship above. Liam whispered, "What are they waiting for?" "They know I'm here," Vetra said. "They want me to come out first." Suddenly the ship fired a pulse. The ground shook. The entrance door blasted open. 3 figures stepped into, armored and masked. Each held a silver staff that buzzed with electric energy. The lead hunter pointed his weapon at Vetra. "Unit VX3, he said. "Return the stolen prototype." Now Liam stood in front of her. "She's not a unit, she's a person." The hunter didn't flinch. "Move, human. You don't know what she is." "I know enough." Then the hunter spoke again, but this time, not to Liam VX3 respond. Vetra stepped forward slowly. Her fingers tightened at her sides. Then she reached behind her neck and tugged at the zipper of her jumpsuit. Liam blinked. "What are you doing?" Her answer was simple, showing you the truth. She unzipped her jumpsuit halfway down her chest and peeled it from her shoulders. Underneath wasn't skin, it was armor, smooth, silver, with thin glowing lines across it. Her spine had small ports, and her arms revealed hidden panels that opened like vents. Her voice changed too. It was no longer just soft and sharp. It echoed, "I am VX3, she said. "You called me a weapon, but I chose to become a mechanic. I chose peace." The lead hunter aimed his staff. "You were not built to choose. Return the core." "I don't answer to you anymore," she said. They charged. Liam didn't even have time to aim. The hunters rushed forward, but Vetra moved faster. Her feet barely touched the floor. She jumped and twisted in the air, landing behind them. Her hand opened, and from her wrist a glowing blade shot out. She sliced the staff in half. Liam ducked as another hunter blasted a pulse toward him. It hit the wall and sent sparks flying. Vetra punched the attacker with full force. Metal shattered. The hunter's mask broke open, revealing a face just like hers, but cold, empty, no emotion. Liam stepped back. "They're like you, worse," Vetra said. "They stayed loyal." The last hunter backed away and hit a beacon on his chest. He vanished in a flash of blue light. "He's calling more," Liam said. "I know," she replied. She walked back to the wall and leaned against it, breathing hard. Sparks flickered from her back. Liam ran to her side. "You're hurt." "It's nothing," she said. "They aimed for my power nodes. I disabled them, but I'll need time to recover." He looked at her carefully now. The armor under her skin, the glowing circuits on her arms. The voice that didn't sound completely human. This was not the same quiet mechanic he met on day one. "You really are part machine," he said. "Yes, but you think, you feel. You saved me." "I wasn't supposed to." She turned to him. "My programming says protect the core at all cost. You were never part of the equation, but I chose to trust you." Liam felt a strange pull in his chest, a warmth. "Why me?" he asked. "Because when I first saw you," she said, "you looked at me like I was a person, not a tool." He stepped closer. Her suit hung off her arms now, torn and glowing. Parts of her chest plate sparked and one of her eyes blinked irregularly. "Need repair," he said. She nodded. "And you need to run." "They won't stop. I'm not leaving you." A silence passed between them. Then she said something that made his heart pound. "I have one more thing to show you, but once I do, you'll never look at me the same way." Liam reached for her hand. "Show me." She pulled her jumpsuit down further, turned her back, and lifted her silver hair. A glowing mark shone on the back of her neck. It looked like a star but deeper, pulsing like a heartbeat. "This mark," she said, "means I'm not just part of a weapon project. I am the final weapon. If I die, the core activates." Liam froze. "And if you live?" he asked. "I keep the galaxy from burning." A red beam lit up the sky like fire. Vetra's eyes snapped open. She rushed to the roof and stared at the dark clouds. A second later, the clouds split apart. 3 ships broke through, black, sharp, silent. Not scouts. War-class hunters. "They're not here to capture me this time," Vetra said. "They're here to erase everything." Liam stood beside her, gripping a wrench like a weapon. "Can we run?" She shook her head. "They've already blocked the air above us. If we try to fly now, they'll shoot us mid-air." "Then what do we do?" Vetra turned fast. "We fight. We make sure they don't touch that core no matter what." Inside the workshop, she dragged open a long metal chest under the floor. Inside were weapons, strange glowing tools of war, shaped like nothing from Earth. Liam stared at them, unsure. "Take what you can carry," she said. "You'll learn fast." He picked up a pulse blaster and a small energy shield. They buzzed. In his hands, Vetra grabbed 2 long rods, tapped them against each other, and they snapped into twin blades. Her body shimmered as armor plates locked into place over her shoulders and chest. She was no longer hiding. She was preparing for war. The ground outside shook. Then came the sound. Metal feet, hundreds of them. A mechanical army had landed. Liam peeked through the cracked window. Rows of hunter drones marched toward the building. Some flew low with spinning blades. Others rolled on wheels, scanning with red lasers. In the middle stood a tall figure twice as large as the others. Its arms were cannons. Its face was metal, shaped like a skull. "That's not a soldier," Liam said. That's a walking death machine, Vetra whispered. That's my replacement. The next version. They built it after I escaped. The enemy army stopped a few meters from the outpost. Then, the giant spoke. VX3. Surrender the core, or we turn this place into ash. Vetra stepped outside, blades in hand. Her body glowed with blue energy. You want the core, she shouted. Then come and take it. And with that, the battle began. The first wave of drones rushed forward. Liam stayed at the back door, blasting from cover. Each drone took 3 shots before falling. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the air. Vetra moved like lightning. She spun through the soldiers, slicing metal like paper. Every time they fired at her, her armor reflected the blasts. Her blades hummed with deadly energy. But there were too many. A flying drone crashed through the workshop roof. Liam fired into it, but not before it hit the main support beam. The building shook. Vetra, he called. The core chamber is underneath us. If this place collapses, I know. She yelled back. Suddenly, the death machine at the center raised its cannons and aimed at the workshop. Vetra's eyes went wide. She ran fast, leaped high, and threw both her blades. They struck the cannon barrels, forcing the aim off target. The blast missed the workshop but slammed into the fuel tanks nearby. The explosion shook the sky. Liam was thrown to the ground. His ears rang. Dust filled his lungs. He crawled back into the corner of the room and saw a crack in the floor right above the core chamber. Vetra, the chamber is exposed. She was on the ground too, her legs sparking, one of her armor plates broken. She pulled herself up and limped toward the workshop. Cover the crack, she shouted. Don't let them see it. Liam dragged a metal panel and dropped it over the opening. Just in time, another drone crashed through the wall. Before Liam could react, it grabbed him by the throat. He struggled, gasping. Its red eye stared into his dot. Then Vetra flew through the air, tackled the drone and crushed its head with her bare hand. Sparks exploded. Liam coughed hard, his vision blurry. Vetra reached down and pulled him up. You all right? She asked. He nodded weakly. Yeah, thanks. She turned to the door. More drones were coming. Her voice was calm now. I'll hold him. You protect the core. Liam grabbed her arm. You'll die out there alone. She looked at him, her face dirty, bruised, but burning with power. I was designed to die alone, she said. But for once, I don't want to. He stepped forward, pressed his forehead against hers. Then we do this together. She smiled, small, but real. Then they turned to face the storm outside, to beings from different worlds, holding the line between destruction and something worth saving. Asterisk. The floor was glowing beneath Liam's feet, not from fire or damage but from something alive. The metal near the crack pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and deep. Each pulse lit the room in a soft blue hue. It was coming from the chamber beneath them. The core. Vetra limped beside him, blood trickling from her mouth. One eye was dim now, flickering like a dying star. Liam looked down at the glowing metal. You said it was a power source, he whispered. But this feels like a heart. Vetra nodded slowly. It is. She pressed a hidden button near the wall. The metal plate covering the chamber retracted with a hiss. A short staircase appeared, leading underground. Liam helped her down. The chamber was round and cold, filled with cables like vines. In the center, floating inside a glass tube, was the core. It wasn't a machine. It was a person, small, curled up, like a sleeping child. Its body was covered in a thin silver skin, pulsing with energy. Wires were attached to its back and arms. Its eyes were closed. Its chest rose and fell gently. Liam stared, frozen. This is the prototype, Vetra said softly. VXO. The first artificial life form. I didn't build it to fight. I built it to live. Liam stepped closer. It's a baby. She nodded. They told me to design a weapon with no fear. Something that would never hesitate to kill. But I gave it a soul instead, a spark. And that spark is the power. Yes, this child is the core. Its energy can destroy fleets. But only if it's awakened in pain. Liam felt cold. All this time you weren't hiding a bomb. You were protecting a life. She sat down slowly, her body shaking. They want it to wake. They want to turn its heart into a fuse. But if it wakes up naturally, if it feels warmth, kindness, it becomes something else. What hope? Suddenly alarms rang out. Vetra struggled to her feet. They're inside the outer wall. We don't have much time. Liam grabbed a wrench and looked around. Can we move it? No, it's linked to this chamber. If we unplug it, the pulse will surge and kill everything around it. Then we stand our ground. Vetra placed a hand on the glass. The child inside moved slightly, like it could feel her touch. Liam asked, what does it see when it dreams? I don't know, she said, but it always calms down when I'm near. Like it knows I'm its mother. Liam turned to her. Not just a mechanic, or a weapon. You're its protector. She smiled faintly. Maybe, or maybe I'm just trying to fix the one thing I broke right. Liam reached for the wall panel and opened a defense grid. Help me set these up. If they're coming, we fight here. Together, they wired energy traps around the chamber entrance. Liam found a power rifle in the storage cabinet. Vetra handed him her last energy cell. Use it well, she said. Liam checked his blaster. We can't win, can we? She didn't lie, no, but we can delay them long enough for the core to wake on its own. He looked again at the child floating inside the glass. What happens when it wakes? If it feels peace, it shuts down the entire enemy network, a pulse so strong, it wipes their programming, and if it feels fear, then the galaxy burns. Suddenly, a loud blast hit the wall above. Cracks appeared in the ceiling. Dust rained down. The enemy was breaching the lower levels. Vetra stood beside Liam. Her blades charged again. This is where I stop running, she said. Liam smiled. Then I'm standing with you. The floor above exploded. Enemy drones poured in sharp, fast, and deadly. Vetra jumped into the air, slicing them mid-flight. Liam fired from behind cover, hitting their weak spots. Every time a drone fell, 2 more replaced it. But the chamber held, and the core kept glowing. Then, as the battle raged, the light inside the tube changed. The child opened its eyes. Golden, a soft egg glow like dawn. Vetra felt it first. A wave of calm washed over her. Her armor stopped buzzing. Her wounds stopped bleeding. Liam felt it too, a sudden warmth, like a memory of home. The drones stopped. Their lights dimmed. One by one, they dropped to the ground. Lifeless. Silence filled the chamber. Vetra fell to her knees, eyes wide. It's awake, she whispered. Liam stepped closer to the glass. The child inside looked at them. It didn't speak, but its gaze was full of peace. Then it closed its eyes again. The entire chamber went dark. Liam opened his eyes to silence. No weapons, no footsteps, no alarms. Only a soft hum filled the chamber, now the kind of hum that sounded like a lullaby in the dark. All the drones were down, lifeless metal on the floor. Smoke drifted through the broken ceiling above, but the stars were clear again. He stood slowly. The glass tube in the center still glowed, but the child inside had curled back into stillness. The golden light had faded, replaced by soft white pulses like a heartbeat. At rest, Vetra was on her knees beside the tube. Her body shook. Her hands were flat against the floor. The lights on her armor were flickering, fading one by one. A small pool of blue blood had formed beneath her. Sparks jumped from the wound in her chest. Vetra. Liam rushed to her. She looked up slowly. Her lips parted in a weak smile. It worked, she said. Liam dropped beside her. You did it. You saved it. You saved all of us. Her head leaned against his shoulder. I used everything I had to control the pulse. If I didn't, it would have been too strong. It would have burned this whole planet. You held it back. She nodded once. I gave the last part of me to keep it gentle. Liam looked at her chest panel. The core unit inside her was cracked. Its inner light was fading fast. Don't say this is the end, he said. You can repair yourself. You have tools. You have me. She reached up and touched his face. I wasn't made to last. Only to protect. You weren't made to care either, Liam said. But you did. She smiled again weakly. Learned from you. Then her hand fell to her side. Liam caught it, holding it tightly. You're not a weapon, he whispered. You're a person. He could feel her systems shutting down. The pulse in her fingers slowed. Her breathing grew shallow. I was cold once, she said softly. I only knew how to fix machines. Then you crashed into my world and broke all my walls. Tears welled up in Liam's eyes. I don't want to lose you. Her eyes fluttered. I'm not gone yet. She reached into her side pouch and handed him a small silver key. What is this? He asked. The override chip. It connects me to the core. If you place it inside the terminal, maybe it will restart me. He looked toward the console at the base of the chamber. Will it hurt you? She shook her head. I won't feel anything, but the core will decide if it feels peace. It may give me another spark, and if it says no, then it means I did my part. Liam stood, hands shaking. He walked to the console and placed the key in the slot. The lights flickered. The core glowed again. Brighter this time, a screen appeared. System request. Reboot VX3. Yes. No. Liam stared at the options. His finger hovered over yes. He looked back at her. She was still breathing barely. He pressed it. The core pulsed once, then again, then silence. For a moment, Liam feared it had failed, but then a soft voice echoed from the chamber. VX3 detected. Reboot in progress. Liam turned fast. Vetra's eyes shot open. The light in her chest flickered back to life. Her systems whirred softly. She gasped for air. Then blinked. It worked. Liam dropped to his knees beside her and pulled her into a tight embrace. It worked. He whispered into her hair. She rested her head on his shoulder. I wasn't supposed to get a second chance, she said. You weren't supposed to love either, he said. But you do. She pulled back just enough to meet his eyes. And then she kissed him. It was warm, soft, real. Her metal fingers slid gently through his hair. In that moment, she wasn't a machine, not a soldier, not a tool built for war. She was just a girl, one who wanted to live. Later, they stood outside the broken workshop. The stars above were clear. The enemy ships had gone. The battlefield was quiet. Liam looked at her and smiled. What now? Vetra looked up at the sky. We rebuilt not just this place, but everything. He reached for her hand. She didn't pull away in your jumpsuit, he asked with a grin. It's kind of torn up, she smirked. Well, maybe I'll let you help me fix that too. They walked away from the ruins, toward the rising sun, hand in hand, and the core behind then pulsed gently alive, peaceful, and watching over them both.